More, Mike. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome from abroad. We're in the Verona Court of Law. I'm the attorney for the Capulet family, and this is the attorney for the Montague family. We'll be arguing our case in front of the judge today. I think it's time we got the judge chosen. Everybody seems to be here. So,
let's get our wits on.
That one down. Fantastic. So that's that done. Ready? Yes. Time to cast the judge. We nominate Judge Mike of Mike's Badhuistheater. All rise as his honourable worship takes his place. Judge Mike. Maybe she did.
Tonight, you will witness the court case following a crime scene reconstruction of the tragic deaths of Mercutio, kinsman to Prince Escalus, Tybalt, Capulet, Paris, kinsman to Prince Escalus, Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet.
What's in a name, Your Honour?
Counsel be charged with insolence. Today's testimony will show the underlying causes of these totally preventable deaths. Now, see. Of those totally preventable deaths, and bring charges against 3 defendants. Friar Lawrence, an apothecary of Mantua, and the Capulet nurse, all in accordance with Veronan law, and in the name of His Highness, Prince Escalus. Counsels, your opening remarks.
Your Honor, barely a week ago, last Sunday, there was a public brawl involving members of the Capulet family openly taunting the Montagues by means of thumb biting, and eventually becoming a fray that involved the good citizens of Verona. This fray was broken up by our ruler, Prince Escalus. Romeo Montague had nothing to do with it.
Objection, Your Honour, hearsay.
As you well know, counsel, there can be no objections, as these are the opening statements.
Thank you, Milo. Romeo Montague attended a masked ball at the Capulet household, being the +1 of an invited guest, Mercutio. He was there in search of one Rosalind Capulet, a cousin of the family. Tybalt Capulet took umbrage at his presence and tried to provoke a fight, but was stopped by Lord Capulet, as is clear from the police reports. Romeo was then hookwind into a marriage with the teenage Juliet Capulet, deceased, and her nurse. Friar Lawrence stands falsely accused today in court. We will be seeking the full weight of law against Juliet's nurse, who instigated this tragic chain of events.
The learned counsel for the Montagues seems, madam, to live in a topsy-turvy world, Your Honour. The fray last Sunday can be attributed to the serving men Abraham and Balthazar of the Montague household, whereas Samson and Gregory of the noble Capulet household reported that Samson was merely biting his thumb, having just finished a peach. Maidenhead cast away as he caught the glance of a Montague. This gesture was then misconstrued, and so the fray began. Immediately following the fray, Prince Escalus spoke advisedly with Lord Capulet, who then went home to organise his masked ball. This masked ball was, of course, for the sole purpose of introducing his only daughter, Juliet, to a prospective future partner in the County Paris. God rest his soul, he was prepared to wait for 2 or 3 years in betrothal. Unfortunately, Friar Lawrence stirred on the eager blood of youth in Romeo Montague, urging him to marry Juliet Capulet, having barely spoken 100 words to her. We will show that this Romeo Montague had a history of Petrarchan philandering, and when he heard of Friar Lawrence's deceptive plan to poison young Juliet Capulet, God rest her soul, he too bought poison in Mantua and hurried back to her tomb, where, finding pious County Paris in mourning obsequies, he killed him outright and finally poisoned his petulant self on Juliet's tomb. Juliet awoke and, distraught, sank a Montague dagger in her most loving breast. We will be seeking the full weight of the law on Friar Lawrence.
Name the deceased and the reasons for their deaths.
Romeo, son and heir to the Montague family, killed by suicide by ingesting poison. Mercutio, a young nobleman, kinsman to Aeschylus, the prince, and friend to Romeo, killed in a street brawl by Tybalt Capulet.
Juliet, daughter and only heir to the Capulet families, killed by suicide with a dagger. Paris, a young nobleman, kinsman to Aeschylus, the prince, killed at the Capulet tomb by Romeo Montague. Tybalt, nobleman and nephew to Lady Capulet, killed in a street brawl by Romeo Montague.
We are prosecuting the nurse to Juliet Capulet on trial for waylaying a teenage girl and assisting her suicide. We are also prosecuting an apothecary of Mantua on trial for selling poison to Romeo Montague.
We are prosecuting Friar Lawrence, Franciscan, on trial for waylaying a teenage girl and assisting her suicide.
The prosecution may call their first witness.
We call the nurse. Have you always been Juliet's nurse?
Objection, Milou. Leading the witness.
I'll rephrase. How long have you been Juliet's nurse?
Even or odd, of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night she'll be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God, she was too good for me. But as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she, Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now, 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it, of all the days of the year upon that day. For I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua, nay, I do bear a grain. But as I said, when I did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dog and felt it bitter, pretty fool to see a tetchin fall out with the dug. Shake, quoth the dove house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time, it is 11 years, for then she could stand high long, nay, by the root. She could have run and waddled all about.
Objection, Your Honor, the witness is narrating.
Your Honor, it's in the council's own best interest to determine her age.
I'll allow it as relevant. Please get to the point in the future.
Nurse, is it true that you knew who Romeo was at the masked ball? Just tell us concisely your conversation with the dear departed Juliet. So we need to cast this one, Capulet household, after the masked ball. We need a Romeo. Anybody want to be a Romeo? A Romeo? Yes. A Romeo and nurse. Watching and listening, you. Nurse, what's happening? The nurse is telling Juliet the identity of the boy that she met. Are we ready?
Dum dum.
Sorry, Juliet. It wasn't Romeo. Sorry, Juliet.
You can be
You can be Juliet. You can be Juliet. There.
Sure. Come hither, nurse. What is young gentleman?
The son and heir of old Tiberio,
What's he that now is going out of door?
Mary, that, I think, be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there, that would not dance?
I know not.
Go ask his name, if he be married. My grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
Clearly this Juliet had bewitched young Romeo.
Your Honor, immediately following the nurse's identification of Romeo, he ditched his friends. The Capulet family has allowed us access to surveillance camera footage of the Capulet garden and Juliet's balcony. We can clearly see what kind of games this profligate philanderer, Romeo Montague, is up to.
Most unusual, but we will allow it. Darken the courtroom and show the footage.
Location, the garden of the Capulet house, surrounded by walls. Now we do need a Romeo and a Juliet. Are you up for it? No? 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 Anybody? Over here? Romeo? Juliet?
Romeo over there and
Yeah.
Juliet here.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet? Romeo? Come. Here we go. Watching and listening, you. Romeo has climbed over the garden walls and he catches Juliet on her balcony speaking about him. He frightens her by speaking up, and then they discuss their seemingly impossible love.
Dum, dum, dum. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks. It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the advised moon, who's already sick and pale with grief. Though our maid are far more fair than she, be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools to wear it. Cast it off. It's my lady, oh, it's my love, oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing what of that. Her eye discourses, I will answer it. Okay, I'm too bold. This not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What of her eyes? Well, there they in her head, the brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it were not night. How she leans her cheek upon her head, and oh, what I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art as glorious to this night. Being over my head is winged messenger of heaven, and to the white upturned wondering eyes, O mortals, that I fell back to gaze on him. When he bestrides the lazy pulling clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand nor foot, nor arm nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo doff thy name, and for thy name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou that thus bescreened in night, so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee what I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, it would tear the words.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I overperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no less to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack thee, there lies more peril in thy eyes, aye, than 20 of thy dear words. Look thou but sweet, and I prove against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have nights cloaked to hide me for their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hates, than death prorogued, wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By a love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lend him eyes. I'm no pilot yet, worth though as far as that vast shore, washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Did you encourage Juliet to marry Romeo and then County Paris?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading a witness.
I'll rephrase. Tell us how about you felt about Romeo and Paris.
Verona City Centre, Romeo and nurse. So we need another Romeo. Anybody want to be Romeo? Yeah. And watching and listening. You. What's happening? Nurse is telling Romeo how Juliet feels about County Paris, who she has to marry according to her father. Dum.
Pray you, sir, a word. And as I told you, my young lady bade me inquire you out. But she bade me say I will keep to myself. But first let me tell you, if you should lead her into a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behavior, as they say. For the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you should deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and very weak dealing.
Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest unto thee.
Good heart, I faith I will tell her as much. Lord, she will be a joyful woman.
What wilt thou tell her nurse?
I will tell her, sir, that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentlemanlike offer.
Bid her devise. Say means to come to Shrift this afternoon, and there she shall at Friar Lawrence call. Be shrived and married here is for thy pains.
No. Truly, sir, not a penny.
Go to, Where we go?
This afternoon, sir, well, she shall be there.
And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within the hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell, commend me to thy mistress.
Now God in heaven bless thee. Hark you, sir.
What sayest thou, my dear nurse?
Oh, there's a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay knife aboard. But she, good soul, has a leaf see a toad, a very toad, as see him.
Clearly we understand the nurse is disseminating. Her language is duplicitous.
Duplicitous, I believe she means. Objection anyway, because what counsel does or doesn't understand is irrelevant, my lord.
Council will cease objecting so much.
We also understand from this that Romeo intended to marry Juliet that very morning.
Let us hear from the witness about this illegal marriage.
Casters for the scene, Capulet household, Juliet's bedroom. Speaking is Juliet and nurse. Can we have your Juliet?
We have
And
Juliet.
Yeah, and a nurse. Come on up. Watching and listening, you. What's happening? The nurse is telling Juliet about her meeting with Romeo in her own sweet time.
Dum dum.
Dum.
Now, good sweet nurse. O Lord, why looks thou so sad? Though muse be sad, yet tell them merrily, if good, thou shamest the music of sweet news, by playing it to me with so sour a phrase.
Jesu, what haste! Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I'm out of breath?
How art thou out of breath? When thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath. The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. Romeo! No, not he, though his face be better than any man's. Yet his leg excels all men's, and for a hand, a foot, and a body. Though they be not to be talked on, and yet they are past.
No, but all this I did know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that?
Lord, how my head aches. What a head I have. It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. My back on it is, oh, my back. Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death while jolting up and down.
Ifeth, I am sorry for thou art not well. Oh, sweet nurse. Tell me, what says my love?
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a cautious, and a kind, and handsome, and where is your mother?
Where is my mother? Why, she is within. Where should she be? Oh, how oddly thou repliest. Your love says, like an honest gentleman. Where is your mother?
Oh, God's lady dear. Are you so hot? Henceforward, do your messages yourself.
Come, what says Romeo?
Have you got leave to go to Shrift today?
Where are we? I don't know. Oh, I have, yes.
Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood in your cheeks. There'll be scarlet straight at any news. Hie you to church.
High to high fortune. Oh, honest nurse. Farewell.
This woman is no better than a board, my lord, encouraging a minor in her care to illegally marry and ruin any chances of Romeo Montague inheriting his father's fortune.
Council's inferences are, as usual, black as day and light as night. Juliet seems, nay, not seems, madam, is clearly being gulled by this Montague.
Enough bickering from both of you! Nurse, would you kindly tell us about Tybalt's death and the effect that had?
Capulet household, speaking are Juliet and nurse. So we nurse, and we need another Juliet, or same Juliet. Would you say you would?
Yeah.
You not. Okay, good. Another Juliet.
Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you.
Perfect. And nurse, up again. Watching and listening. You. What's happening? Nurse is telling Juliet about Tybalt's untimely death at the hands of Romeo.
Well a day. He's dead. We're undone, lady, we are undone. Alack the day he's gone. Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo. Whoever would have thought it? Romeo.
Devil art thou that dost torment me thus? Hath Romeo slain himself? Say thou but it. I am not if thy be such an I. If he be slain, say it I or not know.
Oh, Tybalt. Tybalt, the best friend I had. A gorgeous Tybalt. Honest gentleman. If ever I should live to see his death.
What storm is this that blows so contrary? Is Romeo slaughtered and is Tybalt dead? My dear loved cousin and my dearer lord, then dreadful trumpet, sound the general doom for who is living, if those two are gone.
Tybalt is gone and Romeo is banished. Romeo that killed him, he is banished.
Oh God, did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood?
It did, alas the day it did. Oh, where's my man? Give me some aqua vitae. These griefs, these woes, these sorrows make me old. Shame come to Romeo.
Blessed be thy tongue for such a wish. He was not born to shame. Upon his brow shame is ashamed to sit. For 'tis a throne where honour may be crowned, so monarch of the universal earth.
Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin?
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name, when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? Wherefore, villain, didst thou kill my cousin? That villain cousin would have killed my husband. My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead, that would have slain my husband. That banished, the one word banished, hath slain 10,000 Tybalts. Tybalt's dead. Romeo is banished, there is no end, no limit, measure bound. In that word's death, no words can thou woo sound. Where is my father and my mother, nurse?
Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's court. Will you go to them? I'll bring you dinner.
I'll go to my wedding bed and death. Not Romeo, take my maiden head.
Hie to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. I'll to him. He's in at Lawrence's cell.
So you admit you knew where Romeo was after he was banished? Then in effect, you betrayed Juliet by suggesting she married County Paris?
Counsel means perhaps once Juliet had been tricked into loving this banished murderer and into an illegal marriage, which we believe was never consummated, the rightful suitor for her hand is put forward by a loving nurse.
The witness will tell us, in her own words, about her proposal.
Juliet's room, Juliet and the nurse, watching and listening, you. What's happening? Juliet asks her confident nurse. Unless you want to mail on that, Juliet, that's also possible. Yeah? Good? Perfect. Asks her confident nurse what she should do. She does not like nurse's reply.
Dum
Dum, dum,
dum.
What sayest thou? Hast thou not a word of joy? Some comfort, nurse?
Faith, here it is. Romeo is banished, and all the world to nothing, that he dares never come back to challenge you. Or if he do, it needs must be by stealth. Then, since the case so stands as now it doth, I think it best you married with the county. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Rome's a dish clout to him, an eagle, madam, hath not so green, so quick, so fair an eye as Paris hath. Shrew my very heart, I think you are happy in this second match, for it excels your first, or if it did not, your first is dead, or were as good as he were, as living here, and you no use of him.
Speakest thou from thy heart?
And from my soul too, or else beshrew them both.
Amen.
What?
Well, thou hast comforted me marvellously much. Go in and tell my lady I am gone, having displeased my father, to Lawrence's cell, to make confession, and to be absolved.
Marry, I will, and this is wisely done.
Your Honor, we'd like to submit some new evidence. How we acquired this material might require a ruling. Red Reddington's sources got this footage.
Objection, Your Honor. Red Reddington is a fictional character from another crime series.
The council's all the world's a stage. As you well know. Approach the bench. I do not want to know how you came into possession of this material. However, we will review it in our chambers and rule if it's relevant.
The Capulet household, Juliet's bedroom. Speaking, Juliet. Watching and listening.
No, that lady wants to do that.
Yeah? Yes, perfect, perfect. You. What's happening? Juliet is waiting for her now husband, Romeo, to arrive for their wedding night nuptials.
Dum
dum.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west, and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love-performing night, that runaway's eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, untalked of and unseen. Lovers concede to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or, if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron, all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match, played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Hood my unmanned blood, baiting in my cheeks with thy black mantle, till strange love, grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Come night, come Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow on a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving, black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of her love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. So tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival, to an impatient child that hath new robes, and may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse, and she brings news, and every tongue that speaks but Romeo's name speaks heavenly eloquence.
The court is now adjourned for a pause. All right. We'll resume in 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you are. Wherever you are, please put your place, your location in the live chat, or leave a comment, or whatever. I have to point out the fact that we do have water and plastic cups. These, of course, are courtroom props that we do need, just like the donuts last week. Every time we do this, something happens. But we're going to back into the court of Verona. Mike?
Yes.
Senate, please.
Music maestro.
All rise. His Honor Judge Mike of the Court of Verona. After you, sir. I call to the stand the apothecary of Mantua.
Objection, Your Honor. This is surely a matter for the Mantuan courts.
Overruled! We try him here in Verona.
In that case, Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence a poison bottle found at the Capulet tomb. Fingerprints found, forensics found fingerprints and DNA of Romeo, Montague, and Juliet on the bottle. Forensics have identified its provenance. The supplier was an apothecary of Mantua. Cast list for scene, back streets of Mantua. We need a Romeo and an apothecary. Yes, Romeo? And an apothecary. Watching and listening, you.
Dum. What ho, apothecary!
Who calls so loud?
Come hither, man. I see thou art poor. Hold, there is a 40 ducat. Let me have a dram of poison, such 40 ducat. Let me have a dram of poison, such soon speeding gear as will dispense itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker might fall dead, and that the trunk may be discarded of breath as violently as hasty power fired the hurry from the fatal cannon's wound.
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
Art thou so bare and full of wretchedness, and fearest to die? Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starveth in thy eyes. Contempt and beggary hang upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich. Then be not poor, but break it, and take this.
My poverty, but not my will, consents. Romeo, I pay thy poverty and not thy will. Put this in any liquid thing you will, and drink it off, and if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight.
There is thy gold. Worse poison to men's souls, doing more murders in this loathsome world, and these poor compounds that thou mayest not sell. I sell thee poison. Thou hast sold me none. Farewell, buy food, and get thyself in flesh. Come, cordial and not poison, go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee.
That poor apothecary. He has more chance under Verona law to escape with his life, unless they extradite him.
We understand the Mantua DA's office is filing papers as we speak.
Sometimes the law isn't fair, but just. We'd like to call to the witness stand Friar Lawrence. What was your relationship to Romeo Montague? Now we're in Friar Lawrence's garden. We're speaking as Friar Lawrence and Romeo, watching and listening. You. What's happening? Romeo has switched lovers overnight. and Friar Lawrence berates him for ever loving Rosalind.
And here I hit it right. Our Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true. The sweeter rest was mine.
God pardon sin. Wast thou with Rosaline?
With Rosaline? My ghostly father, no. I have forgot that name, and that name's woe.
That's my good son. Where hast thou been then?
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulets, and mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine, by holy marriage, when and where and how we met. We wooed and made exchange of vow. I tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today.
Holy Saint Francis! What a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline? How much salt water thrown away in waste to season love that of it doth not taste? If e'er thou wast thyself, and these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidst me oft for loving Rosalind,
And for doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
and badst me bury love.
Not in a grave.
I pray thee, chide not.
Oh, she knew well. Thy love did read by rote, could not spell. But come, young waverer, go with me, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancour to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble at me fast.
Clearly we stumble upon the fact that Romeo Montague was a lovesick puppy in the Petrarchan mode.
Excuse my French, but what the hell does Petrarch have to do with Rosalind?
The Petrarchan poet-lover is continuously at work on his personal drama with all the subtle modulations of feeling. Like the Montagues, it is very medieval in its recognition of vanity and sinfulness. The attraction of mortal beauty and earthly beauties is sublime. That is the Renaissance. Clearly, Romeo Montague is idolizing this Rosaline as an unattainable, unimpeachable focus of idealized, idolized love, something we suspect he then applied to sweet, young and impressionable Juliet. What Romeo fails to look at are later developments of this Petrarchan ideal. Unlike the Capulet family, the Montagues remained in antiquity. The Petrarchan metaphor has been replaced with simile, drawn from common observation and direct perception. The sonnet form adapted for persuasive reasoning, including physical love, uniting with the Platonic ideal. There has been an increased self-consciousness about the act of loving itself.
What my learned friend implies is exactly how this young minx and her evil accomplished nurse tricked young Romeo, a bear of much ado but little brain. Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand a Capulet servant. He has signed a sworn affidavit that Romeo and Juliet's first words to one another was a sonnet, and despite Romeo's attempts, not a Petrarchan one.
Objection, Your Honor! Where is Your Honor?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor! This Capulet servant delivered the invitation to the masked ball. He cannot read!
He signed it with his mark.
Cast list for the scene, the masked ball of the Capulet household. A servant speaking, a servant. We need a servant. So yes, servant. Of Romeo and a Juliet. We need a Romeo and a Juliet. Anybody pick it up? There's a Romeo.
I'll do a Juliet for Grin's.
You'll be a Juliet? Okay, fine. You want to be a Romeo?
Yeah.
Come on, perfect. Watching and listening, you. What's happening? Romeo has just set eyes on Juliet and instantly forgets his unrequited love for Rosalind, who is also present at the party. Juliet, you're not there yet, sorry. It's just Romeo.
Oh,
Yeah. And the servant.
where's the servant?
You? What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
I know not, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
Oh, objection, Your Honor! Where is this judge? Objection, Your Honor! This wasn't a sonnet, and it only goes to prove how Petrarchan Romeo's words actually are.
Observe, my lord, how this Juliet is complicit.
Romeo, you're up. Juliet.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much. Which mannerly devotion thou chose in this? For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, they'll grant my prayer's sake.
Then move not while my prayers effect I take. Thus from my lips by thine, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips? O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
Kiss by the book.
Friar Lawrence, did you perform a marriage ceremony between Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet? Friar Lawrence's cell, speaking are Friar Lawrence, a Romeo and a Juliet. We'll take two female Romeo and Juliets if we want right now. Fine. Juliet? A Romeo? Female Romeo? Yes. Watching and listening? You. What's happening? Friar Lawrence agrees to marry Romeo and Juliet in secret.
Dum
Dum dum.
Here comes the lady. Oh, so light of foot will ne'er wear out the everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamer that idles in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall, so light is vanity.
Good evening to my ghostly confessor.
Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both.
As much to him, else his thanks too much.
Oh, Juliet, if the measure of thy joy be heaped like mine, and that thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbour air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either by this deep encounter.
Conceit, more rich in matter than in words, brags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars that can count their worth. But my true love is grown to such excess, I cannot sum up some of half my wealth.
Come with me. We shall make short work, for by your leaves you shall not stay alone. Till Holy Church, incorporate two in one.
Did you help Romeo Montague escape to Mantua?
Objection! Relevance?
Your Honour, he illegally married two scions of the most powerful families in Verona. He then aided and abetted this murderer of Tybalt Capulet to escape to Mantua. I'll rephrase. What did you say to Romeo after he killed Tybalt and sought your help? Location, Friar Lawrence's cell. Speaking, Friar Lawrence, a Romeo and a Juliet. Yes?
Romeo.
No, you're going to be Romeo. Romeo, a Juliet.
Nurse.
Is it nurse? Sorry, nurse. And a nurse. You're going to be a nurse? You're going to need a Romeo. Yeah? Watching and listening, you. What's happening? Friar Lawrence is telling Romeo to man up and look at the positive outcomes of his killing Tybalt.
Dum dum. Hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries thou art, thy tears are womanish. Unseemly woman in seeming man, or ill-beseeming beast in seeming both. Thou hast amazed me, and by holy order I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and stay thy lady too that lives in thee by doing damned hate upon thyself? Railst thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth, since birth and heaven and earth all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once wouldst lose? Fie, fie, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax, digressing from the valour of a man. Her dear love sworn, but hollow perjury, killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish. What? Rouse thee, man! Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy too. And the law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings lights upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array. But like a misbehaved and sullen wench, thou poutest upon thy love and thy fortune. Take heed, for such die miserable.
Yeah, I think it might have been best if you'd let him just take his life.
Objection, my lord. Council's opinion is not of bearing here.
No excuses, your worship. Friar Lawrence, despite knowing that you had already coupled these two lovers, did you also arrange for Juliet to marry County Paris? Location, Friar Lawrence's cell. We need a Friar Lawrence and we need a Paris.
Paris?
We've got a Paris. We've got a Paris. Yeah, we got a Paris over here. We've got a Paris out here. And then Juliet arrives. So we need a Juliet as well. She's going to need to come up. And Juliet over there, but she arrives. She'll be back in a minute. Watching and listening, you. What's happening? Paris is visiting Friar Lawrence so he can officiate at his marriage to Juliet. Juliet arrives and she and Paris are having a discussion.
Dum. On Thursday, sir. The time is very short.
My father, Capulet, will have it so, and I am nothing slow to slack his haste.
You say you do not know the lady's mind. Uneven is the course. I like it not.
Immoderately she weeps for Tiber's death, and therefore have I little talked of love, for Venus smiles not in a house of tears. Now, sir, her father counts it dangerous, that she doth give her sorrow so much away, and in his wisdom haste our marriage, to stop the innuation of her tears. Now, do you know the reason of this haste?
I knew not why I should be slowed. Look, sir, here comes the lady towards myself.
Happily met, my lady and my wife.
That may be, sir, when I may be a wife.
That maybe must be love on Thursday next.
What must be, shall be.
There's a certain text.
Friar Lawrence,
Yes.
as a religious man, you might be excused for having some qualms regarding your actions. Tell us, Friar, were you flying by the seat of your cassock? Or did you have a plan?
Your Honor, Friar Lawrence acted in everyone's best interest. The potion he provided was not, after all a deadly poison.
Ah, yes, the potion. Your Honor, we'd like to enter that potion into evidence. Friar Lawrence's cell, Friar Lawrence and Juliet, watching and listening, you, for the moment. What's happening? Friar Lawrence, who is in deep caca, figures out a plan so Juliet doesn't have to marry Paris. We need a Juliet for this one. Yes? Juliet's coming in. Here we go.
Dum
Dum dum.
Daughter, do spy a kind of hope which craves as desperate an execution, and that is desperate which we would prevent. If, rather than to marry County Paris, thou hast the strength of will to slay thyself, then it is likely thou wilt undertake a thing like death to chide away this shame. Thou copest with death himself to escape from it, and if thou darest, I'll give thee remedy. Hold then, go home, be merry, give consent to marry Paris. Wednesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not thy nurse with thee in their chamber. Take thou this vial. Being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou of. When presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humour, for no pulse, no warmth, no breath shall testify thou livest. Each part, deprived of supple government, shall stiff and stark and cold, appear like death. And in this borrowed likeness of shrunk death, thou shalt continue 42 hours, and then awake, as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there thou art, dead. Then, as the manner of our country is, in thy best robes, uncovered on the bier, thou shalt be borne to that same ancient vault where all the kindred of the Capulets lie. In the meantime, against thou shalt awake. Shall Romeo by my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come. And he and I will watch thy waking, and that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua.
Our learned counsel proposes that this potion wasn't deadly. Well, it certainly proved so for too many souls. With Romeo banished to Mantua and the rightful wedding between Juliet and County Paris moved to the Wednesday from the Thursday, Friar Lawrence's confession in the police documents indicates he tried to send a letter to warn Romeo. Your Honor, I'd like to enter that letter into evidence. Friar, could you tell us again why it wasn't delivered? There's a letter in evidence. Yeah. We need a Friar John and a Friar. We need a Friar John. Friar John, stand up, please. Yes, here we go. Friar John, Friar Lawrence.
Well, this same should be the voice of Friar John. Welcome from Mantua. What says Romeo? Or, if his mind be writ, give me his letter.
Going to find a barefoot brother out, one of our order to associate me, here in the city, which visiting the sick, and finding him. The searchers of the town, suspecting that we both were in a house where the infamous pestilence had reigned, sealed up the doors and would not let us forth, so that my speed to Mantua there was stayed.
Bear my letter, then, to Romeo.
I could not send it. Here it is again. Here it is again. No, get the messenger to bring it to thee. So fearful were they of any infection.
Happy fortune. By my brotherhood, the letter was not nice, but full of charge of dear import, and the neglecting it may do much danger. Friar John, go hence. Get me an iron crow. and bring it straight unto my cell.
Brother, I will go and bring it to thee.
Yes.
A plague on both your houses. Mercutio's dying words rang true.
Milord, we have the friar's confession. Do we really need to continue this farce?
Your Honor, for the still grieving family, what happened specifically at the tomb? His guilt, as counsel said, is not in question.
Counsel did not say he was guilty, Milord.
Proceed.
Here's some of the crime scene photos from last time we had read. There's the watchman, sire. There's the sword that killed Paris. The poison that Romeo had on him. The knife that Juliet used to kill herself. Location, Capulet tomb. Friar Lawrence and Juliet, who awakes. We need Friar Lawrence and we need a Juliet who awakes from death. Watching and listening, you. Friar Lawrence approaches the Capulet tomb and inside discovers the bodies of Paris and Romeo. Juliet awakes and refuses to leave.
Dum
Dum. Where is he? Romeo!
He's dead. He's dead. Where's a dead Romeo? A dead Romeo, please. Come quickly. Thank you.
Romeo! Oh, alack, alack, what blood is this, which stains the stony entrance of this sepulchre? What means these masterless and gory swords to lie discoloured by this place of peace? Romeo! Oh, pale. Oh, who else? Paris, too? Paris, too! Oh, steeped in blood!
Oh.
And what unkind is hour is guilty of little...
Guilty under thou of betrayal, and she of meddling and...
Prince Aeschylus and fantastic. And we need a Lord Capulet. Sim. Here we go.
Where be these enemies, Capulet, Montague? See what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished. Lord Capulet, oh brother Montague, give me thy...
That's his word. Okay.
O brother Montague, give me thy hand. This is my daughter's jointure, for no more can I demand.
Sorry, now it's you.
But I can give thee more, for I will raise her statue in pure gold, that while Verona by that name is known, that shall no figure at such rate be set as that of true and faithful Juliet.
As rich shall Romeo's by his ladies lie, poor sacrifice of our enmity.
O glooming peace this morning, with it brings the sun for sorrow, would not show his head, go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned and some punished, for never was a story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. I think we ran out of tape at the last moment. Just in time. I'm not sure whether we caught it or not. Possible.
We're
Maybe
there.
not. We're
there.
still here. We're filming the end. We'll add it to the tape. We know for next time. You've been watching a Shaoke production. Thank you very much for being here.
One more little thing. William has already said it to the viewers online, but we always provide a little snack in the courtroom. The snack obviously is water, so that